Hi, I'm Ian Wright and you're watching Football Stats Online.
Yes, it's red versus white, Arsenal versus Tottenham, and this time it's Coquelin versus Wanyama. Who is better?
1, 2, 3.
Yes, and welcome back to another episode of Versus here on Football Stats Online. For those who don't know, Versus takes two players and puts them together against each other based on statistics, to see who is better. Today is no different, with Francis Coquelin taking on Wanyama ahead of the Sunday clash North London derby. But who is better, Wanyama or Francis Coquelin? Before we get to that, I'd like to thank all those who commented on my last video, why if Riyad Mahrez should win the Ballon d'Or. Check it out if you haven't. See my reasons why he should win the Ballon d'Or and why those reasons merit him to win the Ballon d'Or. Now, for those who are new to the show or don't know, the way I judge success is by three ways: defensive contribution, midfield contribution, and attacking contribution. Depending on the position that the player plays will depend on how much weighting I put in terms of their actual contribution. So for instance, we're doing Coquelin versus Wanyama, both quite defensive players, so I don't expect them to have many great statistics in terms of attack. It's more about differentiating who's good if they're just both too good in terms of defensive play. But we're gonna find out. So let's get to it. Now I'm starting with their weaker areas, and in this case it would be attacking. Both defensive midfielders, so I don't expect them to have much attacking prowess. However, when we look at the stats this season, we can see Victor Wanyama has done a lot better than Coquelin in terms of attacking. He has more successful dribbles, more shots, a better shot accuracy, and has scored a goal. Now we can see that Coquelin's only played 8 games compared to Wanyama's 10 games. So when we look at the averages, however, it's still the same story. Wanyama has better successful dribbles, total shots, accuracy, and goals. Now this doesn't mean much, but it does show how good Wanyama is going forward. You know, Coquelin hasn't got the best stats going forward, and therefore Wanyama wins round 1. Yes, now we're looking at midfield contribution in terms of their actual impact in helping the attackers and making sure that the ball is moving forward. And as we can see by the statistics, Wanyama again dominates, having 470 successful passes, 316 total forward passes, 11 key passes, 11 chances created, and a pass completion of 89%. Now we compare that to Coquelin. Coquelin has less successful passes at 354, less forward passes at 257, less key passes and chances created at 4, but still the same pass completion. Now, as I said before, Coquelin has played less games, 8 compared to Wanyama's 10. And if we look at the averages, Coquelin has a better total forward pass average at 32 forward passes per game, but Wanyama still dominates with regards to successful passes at 47, key passes at 1.1, and chances created at 1.1. Based on those statistics, it looks like Wanyama is a better contributor in terms of midfield. So Wanyama wins round 2. Now Arsenal fans, before you start crying or start cursing because Wanyama's won 2 rounds in a row, it's like I said in the beginning. I place more emphasis and onus on the positions that they're known for, and in the case of both these players, it's defensive midfielders, defensively how they contribute to the team. Now when we look at the stats, Coquelin, having played 8 games, has made 13 tackles, 22 interceptions, made 1 block, has led no errors to goals, and has been carded once for a bad tackle. When we look at Wanyama, however, he's made 22 tackles, had 10 interceptions, made 4 blocks, had 1 error to go, and made 3 bad tackles. Now it looks like there's a clear division in terms of what they're good at. Coquelin's good at interceptions with 22, while Wanyama's good at tackles with 22. Now you'd expect that from Wanyama, as Tottenham are a very pressing team, and therefore Wanyama will make more tackles. Now I'm quite old school in the fact that I think tackling's an art, so therefore Wanyama really should be credited for that. But then Coquelin is great in terms of interception, and interception in itself is a skill in terms of the way you position yourself. You could say it's even more efficient than getting and tackling the player by getting the ball from an interception. Then we look at the blocks. Wanyama's made more blocks at 4, but then Coquelin's had no errors in leading to a goal. This is a tough one. However, when we look at the averages, in terms of interceptions, Coquelin is 2.75s, blocks 0.12, errors 0, cards for tackling 0.12, and while Wanyama averages 2.2 tackles per game, 1 interception, 0.4 blocks per game, errors to goals 0.1, cards for bad tackles 0.3. Now this is a hard decision to make. The stats show Coquelin's very good at interceptions while Wanyama's good at tackling. Now they are both great assets to have on the pitch. However, I feel that Coquelin just edges it as he shows more efficiency in terms of having less tackles, less errors to goals, and less cards for bad tackles. As well, Coquelin has a better average in terms of tackles than Wanyama has for interceptions. So round 3 and defense goes to Francis Coquelin. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, and when it was lighter, we put more emphasis on the player's positioning, and in the case of Wanyama and Coquelin, it was defense. So does this mean Coquelin's a better player because he won defense? Well, not quite, because as you saw in those stats, it was very close. Coquelin just edging it, hence why we go into midfield and attacking contribution. And as you saw there, Wanyama was much better. So for this season, I'm saying Wanyama is a better player than Coquelin. However, there's other variables in terms of Coquelin coming back from injury, Wanyama playing every game, every minute. But as the stats show, going off stats, Wanyama is better this season than Coquelin so far. However, not over just yet, but that's just 10 to 8 games that they've both played. Let's look over the last 2 seasons to see if Wanyama is still a better player overall than Coquelin. Now, if we look over the last 2 seasons in the Premier League from 2014 to 2016, it looks like Wanyama has more greens in terms of tackles, goals, dribbles, key passes, and assists. So does this mean it's better? Well, like you can see from the total games, Coquelin has played far less games at 48 compared to Victor Wanyama's 62. Because when we look at the averages, it's a completely different story. Coquelin has 3.3 in terms of tackles, interceptions at 3.6, fouls at 1.2, being dispossessed at 1.1, and dribbles at 1.2. He has 4 more greens in terms of his performance against Victor Wanyama. Now, as you can see from the stats from those averages, the script has been flipped. Wanyama had more totals, but that's because he played more games. When we took it per game in terms of the averages, while Coquelin had a far better result. So with that all being said, and having looked at all the stats, it's clear to see that Coquelin is the better player. Now you could argue that Wanyama had better attacking attributes than he does. For a defensive midfielder, he does have good attacking attributes. But from a defensive standpoint, Coquelin is the better player, and therefore I'd have to say Coquelin wins this versus. Now, based on the stats you've seen, do you think I chose the right winner? I'd love to hear your opinion, whether you're an Arsenal fan or Tottenham fan or just a fan of football. Do you think Coquelin is better than Wanyama overall? I know I've said Wanyama's better this season, but overall, do you think he's a better player? I'd love to hear your comments in the comments below. Please do leave your opinions and maybe if you've got some facts or stats, please do drop them in the comment section. I would much appreciate it. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. I much appreciate that as well. And thank you as always. Thank you so much for watching, and peace to you. Nilutara, kuangalia vizuri. Plus de chance la prochaine fois.
Jalousie ma papy, à 11h je vis ça à papa. Gâté, appétit, parce que par l'amour là du Brésil. Imbécile, je veux par loin d'ici, j'oublie les galères.